Hey guys, welcome to my series on Twitter. Anyway, so I recently had the opportunity to work with a bunch of individuals who are trying to build up their overall social media presence. So LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, the max. Obviously, there's a lot of benefits in doing so for your own personal brand, to connect your personal and your professional brand. A lot of companies are really moving towards having, what's considered to be an internal influencer for them. So really building up your own digital eminence is becoming an incredibly valuable asset for yourself in your any career, any profession. So I wanted to do this series because I'm getting a lot of the same types of questions when I first start out with helping these individuals out. And the number one question I get is, why do I need to be on Twitter? Twitter is stupid. Twitter's for twits. Pretty much any random combination of twit and twat and whatever you can think of, people have kind of thrown in my direction in terms of this is basically saying this is stupid, it's pointless. But a lot of it comes out of a misunderstanding of Twitter, and in the fact that it's one of those platforms that's actually fairly difficult to learn how to use and use effectively. Anyone can sign up for an account. I think there's well over 1 billion people who have signed up for Twitter accounts, but a lot of people fail to use them, and I think that's where that misrepresentation of the value of Twitter comes through. So there's, probably over 1 billion people on Twitter, only 310 million active users. And so it's not to say that there's not a lot of people on Twitter. There's a lot of people on Twitter and a lot of active people on Twitter. So it's not this, dying platform that people aren't using anymore. It's specific to probably certain demographics and people that are particularly interested in, knowledge sharing and becoming more in tune with what's going on in particular areas. You can search Twitter and you can find pretty much anything that you want to find. If you put any keyword in, you're going to find the most recent information about that's being talked about out there about that particular keyword. If I want to find out what's going on with marketing, the latest and greatest, or social media, or cat memes, I can just go up into Twitter, type in hashtag cat memes, and we'll see what we find. I don't know. But really it comes down to, I think, there's a really fundamental misunderstanding of what Twitter is really great for. And I had a similar misunderstanding when I was first starting out. An interesting story was that I had the same misperceptions about what Twitter was when I started, even 5 years ago now. And what hooked me on it was, while I was in the middle of really learning what this platform was and what it was capable of, and trying to integrate it into a work project that I had been kind of challenged with, the Sandy Hook shooting happened, and the first opportunity that I had to hear about it, and I was the first person in my organization to actually hear about it, was on Twitter. At that point I was probably following 10 people, and one of them happened to be a news source. And all of a sudden, up in my newsfeed, I'm seeing the horrific events, and talking about the shooting at an elementary school. And I was like, what? What is going on? What is this? This can't be real. And so then I started Googling it, and lo and behold, of course, it was in fact real. And I'm just like, wow. And obviously, after the fact, as I'm thinking about that, I was like, that's interesting that, the first place that I was finding out about this, up-to-date news before anybody else was Twitter. And so that to me was interesting in the fact that I was like, I could really use this platform to my advantage. This generation, especially, talk about and think about millennials, and we're short on time. Everyone's short on time these days. We don't spend a lot of time in front of the TV watching news. We don't really focus our energy on and tuning into the 6 p.m. newscast. We don't, when we roll out of bed in the morning, that's not the first thing we do. Whether that's a good or bad thing, I'll let you be the judge. But the fact of the matter is that we don't. And so having the ability to kind of pop into a social network or a channel and immediately get the latest and greatest information around a particular topic, that to me is pretty profound. And so Twitter especially, all you have to do is go in and search a keyword and boom, you'll have the latest information on that. I mean, just think of the election of the last year. Where else could you find the most information about what was going on with the election? You log onto Twitter, you type in hashtag I'm with her, or hashtag make America great again, and you're going to get all the information that you could ever want on these candidates and more. We've seen 83% of our world's political leaders are on Twitter. Again, I'll let you be the judge of whether that is a good thing or a bad thing. But, there's a lot of information to be had from Twitter. And if you cull those resources in a particular way to get the information that you want, then it's extremely valuable. I just think the things that I'm interested in, marketing, social media, fitness, health, 90s music, I don't know, whatever your hobbies are. You can go into Twitter and you can just create like a list of people who have all of the traits that you want, all of the same interests that you have, and then boom, you go on and you find out what's going on in the world of the things that you care about. And you can engage with those people. It's rare on a platform. You don't get it a lot on Facebook. Facebook's pretty personal. LinkedIn even has its limitations in terms of how much or how aggressively you network or reach out to somebody. But Twitter, there's really, no boundary or limitation to how much you can network and how much you can engage with other people on that channel. I mean, if you start to send some weird messages, you might get blocked. But if you keep it clean, if you keep it, professional or at least friendly, you have the opportunity to make some incredible connections. I can, without a doubt, say that some of the opportunities that I've had just in the last couple of years have, without a doubt, come from Twitter. Have, without a doubt, come from the influence that I've built around the community that I have on Twitter. When you grow a following and you grow to have this community, it's really a community that you're building on Twitter. You could say the same thing for like Instagram. You're building a community of people who are a lot like you in a lot of ways. They have similar views, they have similar interests. They're not going to agree with everything that you say, and once in a while you're going to get a heated battle. But for the most part, you're building this incredible network of individuals who, for the most part, have the same interests that you do. And that's incredibly valuable in any professional landscape. It lands you opportunities to, perhaps go to an event. If you're building a small business, it could be leads that you're building and creating for yourself. It could be that new job opportunity that you're looking for that you get through this route. I've heard examples of people who engage in a Twitter chat and all of a sudden they have a job interview, with somebody that they met through this chat. And, at first people are like, I can't even figure out how to write a tweet. I don't even know. Like, what is that? How do you even do that? How do you capture your thought in, 140 characters? I don't know. But the good news is that I'm here to help you with that. Everybody starts out like that. Everybody. If you feel completely lost, it is normal. It is okay. And I am going to create this series of videos, try to keep them quick and short and sweet, and really help everyone understand what this crazy world of Twitter is all about. So join me.